Marcus pieced together fragments from obscure texts, historical records, and hushed testimonies. Psychic vampirism, he realized, was as old as leadership itself, rooted deeply in the interplay between power, belief, and human vulnerability. It flourished in modern politics precisely because it was invisible, subtle, and masked beneath layers of charisma, ambition, and carefully curated narratives. Driven by this unsettling revelation, Marcus attended a campaign rally for Governor Lucian Hart, a rising political star known for his mesmerizing oratory. From his spot on the outskirts of the crowd, Marcus observed carefully. Hart stepped onto the stage, poised and composed, radiating confidence. He began speaking softly, his voice resonating with warmth, sincerity, and power. The audience leaned forward, captivated, eyes wide and open, their collective attention focused on this single figure of authority. Yet as Hart continued, Marcus perceived something alarming: the subtle shimmer in the air around the governor, a barely perceptible current flowing from the crowd toward him, invisible threads of emotional vitality silently drawn into the politician's aura. Marcus felt a chill as he realized Hart was consciously directing and absorbing this energy, his posture growing straighter, his eyes brighter, his gestures more commanding. Meanwhile, those around Marcus gradually slumped, their expressions glazed and weary, unaware of the intangible exchange. Determined to expose this hidden predation, Marcus sought the insight of Dr. Alina Reyes, an expert in metaphysics and ancient symbolism. In the quiet sanctuary of her office, surrounded by candles and old tomes, she confirmed his suspicions. "Psychic vampires feed upon emotional energy," she explained gently. "The public willingly surrenders their vitality through devotion, anger, fear, or hope. Politicians who master this exchange can harness incredible power, but each feeding leaves their audience depleted, vulnerable, and increasingly dependent." Marcus shivered. Then democracy itself becomes corrupted. The people, drained of their psychic vitality, lose their ability to think critically, to question, to resist. Dr. Reyes nodded solemnly. "Precisely. Psychic vampirism thrives where attention and belief are freely given. Politics, at its core, is the ideal feeding ground." Driven by urgency, Marcus returned to his investigations, determined to illuminate the truth before the next major election. He carefully documented the subtle but undeniable patterns: how controversies were manufactured to inflame passions, how scandals and crises were orchestrated to amplify fear, anger, and desperation, all feeding the insatiable psychic appetites of those in power. Finally, Marcus wrote a detailed exposé, carefully weaving evidence with historical context and expert insights. It was published quietly, initially dismissed and ridiculed, yet it slowly rippled through the collective psyche of the city. People began to recognize the patterns Marcus described: the exhaustion after rallies, the lingering emotional emptiness after fervent political debates. Gradually, a few brave individuals began to question, to step back, reclaiming their psychic autonomy. But psychic vampires do not easily relinquish their prey. Political leaders, sensing the threat, intensified their efforts, constructing new narratives, new crises, new emotional triggers. Marcus found himself at the center of a silent war, a battle not of weapons but of perception, belief, and energy. In the end, he understood that psychic vampirism was not merely an affliction of particular politicians, but a reflection of society's collective vulnerabilities. The human tendency to surrender autonomy, to seek saviors, to abdicate responsibility for comfort and certainty. To defeat the psychic vampires, Marcus realized, meant fundamentally transforming how humanity perceived power, authority, and their own agency. And so the battle raged silently onward, unseen by most, yet felt deeply by all who dared to awaken from their psychic slumber. Marcus knew the war would not end easily, nor quickly, but he was determined, for the sake of truth, integrity, and the human spirit itself, to persist, resisting the shadows of power, one courageous truth at a time.